Now, it's coming up as a question because the word is often translated as remember or cause to remember. And I did go and look it up today, did a little work on it. It's zakar, Z, not Zed. What is it? Zion. That's it. It's Zion Kaf Resh. And its most commonly used meaning is remember. But not the way we think of that word remember. And this is where it really, when you get to the Lord's Supper part and do this in remembrance of me, this is where it does really impact quite a bit. And you're right, this should influence the way we hear how Jesus talks about instituting remembrances. For sure, right? You should read this into him. So, but for the American, in remembrance of me, remember means like internally, it means meditate. They mean contemplate. There's words for that in Hebrew. And this word could actually kind of mean meditate sometimes, but only as an act of remembering, which is more about not forgetting. So if you can think of this word is the opposite of forgetting. Right? To remember is not to forget. It isn't about how you feel while you think about things. It's the fact that you thought about it again, that it came back to you, right? But that's just it. So the word only means remember after it first means to think about. Because what are you doing when you remember something? Well, you're thinking about it. But then it can also mean much more than just think about it. It can mean to recite it. It can mean to invoke it. So it's the root of the word invocation, right? What am I doing when I invoke? I'm remembering to call upon my God. Okay, so you can see the remembrance is going on there too. And then probably the most substantial meaning of it is just to pay attention. So every place where I pay attention to my name, well, it doesn't quite fit there, but somewhere where I put my name for you to pay attention to it, that's maybe a little more of the action there, right? It can refer to inner mental acts it does refer to inner mental acts that do result in external actions. And so again, to invoke, to declare, to bring to remembrance is not merely a matter of remembering, but of doing something because you remembered. Right? And this is maybe the most important piece of this. So when God in the Old Testament remembers, he's not sitting somewhere thinking, he's acting. So like, you're in pain, and he remembers you, and then he takes away your pain. Right? That is the heart of this word for God. When he remembers, he acts. Right? It's not just for God, for everybody. To remember is to act. So then it goes even more, so that this word, zakar, which is a verb and then has a noun that is based on it, has a second noun that grows out of it that is zakaron. And this is the word that is, if not here in Exodus 20, it's in Exodus 12:14 at the Passover, it's at Exodus 13:9 at the delivery of the manna, and it is the word memorial, or token, or record, or even liturgy. And this thing, this zakaron, this memorial, this remembrance, is always an object or an act that brings to mind something else. And all of these meanings, when I research these Hebrew words that have multiple meanings, they have edges to each other, but you can usually figure out where they actually made a note that said it's usually hard to figure out which one of these meanings is the right meaning, which means that all of them are the same thing. To remember is to recite, is to pay attention, is to think about, is to invoke, is to declare, is to not forget, right? Those are all the same thing. But so this word, memorial, a thing that brings to mind something else, well, in every place where I bring to mind my name, I will come to you and I will bless you. So the action of remembering here is God bringing his name into your mind, and that the promise is that wherever he does that, it's going to be a blessing to you. And since the Lord's Supper is where he does that, and in fact says, I'm doing this as my memorial, I mean, it's right there, right? Or think of baptism again. What is it that is being recorded on you? It is the name. It's the name of God. And so he will come to you and bless you through these things. Yeah, absolutely. We should see that there. I think of all the things to take away from this is just to see how the Hebrew understanding of remembrance also means act. also means speak and do. And so when Jesus says, this is my remembrance, do this. Mm-hmm. The whole thing is a testimony of his memorial. It's to bring him back to mind for all of this. It's not as though the Baptists are wrong to remember the cross when they take the Lord's Supper. They're not wrong. It's just they think that's all there is. And that's just part of it, because wherever it is, he's going to bless you. Then they say it doesn't bless you, it doesn't do anything. But wherever his name is, it's going to do something. It just said that, right? You're getting half the gospel at that point. So it's not as though Baptists aren't Christians. They just, sacramentarians. You just got half the gospel. And that's why, you try to put your faith in mustard seeds and things like that. So